everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead Houston, where it's all Houston all the time. Today, we are going to be giving out some trade options that the Houston Texans maybe should or should not make. I will be indifferent. These are three options that I found that were continuously thrown out on the trade block, and they're all offensive linemen. The Houston Texans, to add context, again, I did a video just earlier this morning talking about NFL free agents that could help this team. Now I'm going to turn my attention to some of the guys that are on the trade block. I know a lot of y'all were asking in the comment section, Harley, who do you think we could trade for? Well, who we are. These are just three options that constantly came up around NFL rumors, news, and trades. And these are the three that I'm going to do a video on, and then I'll probably expand and try to think of some more outside of the box ideas. And maybe there's a name out there that isn't being talked about that the Houston Texans, with that extra draft capital from next year's draft, maybe they could use to go get themselves what I think they need is an interior offensive lineman. So a few of these guys play guard. One of them is a versatile tackle guard. We're going to start with the first option there. While we're at it, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are on the road to 15,000 subscribers. And I want y'all to listen up real quick. Do me a favor. The Houston Texans running back Joe Mixon is going to be hosting a camp. He is hosting a youth camp, and you can register at joemixoncamp.com. Yes, you see the poster right there, and yes, CJ Stroud will be there. So if you have any kids that are, fit within that age group, you can go ahead and register them. It's only $200. $199 right away. You'll meet Joe Mixon. You'll get CJ Stroud there as well. You get a few free stuff, some signed stuff, I'm sure, as well. Make sure you check it out. It is from Advantage BMW of Midtown. This is from procamps.com. So make sure, check out the link. I'll have it in the description below. joemixoncamp.com. Check it out and register your kid today. All right, let's get into some trade options. The very first one, Evan Neal, the tackle guard option from the New York Giants. Now, I know a lot of y'all, after I said that name, probably threw up in your mouth, and I don't blame you. But Evan Neal is a constant trade rumor that continuously has been thrown out there amongst the NFL, and he continues to be thrown out here one more time. Evan Neal is a big old dude, as we know. He's like 6'7", 350. He's 24 years old still. Lots of youth, and there is still potential there. Now, I know he is a tackle, but there has been talks about moving him to guard, and he did not have that good of a season at all this year. You're looking at a guy that had over 450 plus snaps, but he had 6 penalties, 2 sacks. Now, the sacks aren't so bad, but the penalties, not so good. All right. And then he only played 459 snaps. So usually whenever you're a starter, you're playing right at 1,000. And so if you add another 500 snaps, they're going to add 12 penalties and 4 sacks. Not so good. Evan Neal ain't a great option, and it is an option that I would not want the Houston Texans to be taking a look at, and I don't think they are. And this isn't, again, a lot of these trade options, I don't think none of these trade ideas are happening. I'm going to put that out there right away. The Houston Texans, in my opinion, are not looking to make these trades, again, until an injury pops up or they reevaluate their OLine and training camp, and then they're going to go, okay, after their reevaluation, they're going to put a significant interest in offensive linemen, or are they going to keep the interest with the group they have currently in the building? And I think they're going to stick with the guys they have in the building. They usually always do. But Evan Neal is one of those options. Another option the Houston Texans could be looking at is Trey Pipkins, the third guard from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, again, not a great option at all. 28 years old, 6'6", 300. Trey Pipkins was a former tackle that just moved to guard this previous year, and it didn't work out. The experiment was no good for the Chargers. He was arguably their worst offensive lineman of the year, but he is still 28 years old, and who knows, maybe If the Houston Texans wanted to take a chance and maybe he fits better here with Nick Caley and Cole Popovich, I have no clue. But ultimately, he is a guy that is going to be on the trading block, as the Chargers did grab themselves an offensive lineman in the draft. They also signed Mekhi Becton, so Trey Pipkins could be on his way out for the Chargers. I wouldn't want him to be in a Houston Texan uniform, but again, this is another trade option. He had about 838 snaps played, gave up 5 penalties, and the worst of all, 6 sacks. He is one of the worst offensive linemen this previous year, but that transition from tackle to guard did not work out in his favor. So unfortunate for him, but it is what it is. Not someone I want the Houston Texans taking a look at. But this is one option. The last option right here is somebody the Houston Texans should be keeping a very good eye and interest on. And to me, this is the best trade option for an offensive lineman available. It goes to the Cleveland Browns. His name is Joel Batonio, guard. Look, 6'4", 320. He's 33 years old. He's a veteran. The only thing with Joel Batonio, I was reading up on him from Mary Kay Cabot. Mary Kay Cabot is a damn good insider for the Cleveland Browns. Had an article around Joel Batonio, a guy that did decide about whether or not he wanted to come back to the team, did mull his options about retirement, so he is looking at retirement, but he came back to the Browns. And to me, that says a lot. To me, it says that he's loyal to the soil. Okay, he is a guy that is not going to want to leave the Cleveland Browns, and I think he wants to finish his career in Cleveland. Now, if they are looking bad, and I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to be that good of a football team this year, and at some point, if they're they're really struggling, which I think they could be, do the Houston Texans, do the Cleveland Browns venture Joel Batonio and some of these veterans they have on their team? Do they start looking at them and putting them on a trade block? The Houston Texans need to keep an eye on it, because it is not far-fetched that Joel Batonio, like it was said in the article, he does want to win. He would like to go to a winner, but he did go back to the Cleveland Browns because he's just loyal. And Joel Batonio, maybe not his best year this previous year, but still very, very good guard play, and a whole lot better than you had here with the Houston Texans. You're getting a guy that played 1,200 snaps. 1,200 snaps. Think about that. 8 penalties, 3 sacks. I know that's not the greatest numbers, but again, this is 1,200 snaps. And how good were the Browns last year? The quarterbacks they had, it was not very good for them this previous year. Joel Batonio still played at a very high level. He's a Pro Bowler. He's that dude. And the Houston Texans, that's the guy to keep an eye on, is Joel Batonio, guard from the Cleveland Browns. Keep a very good eye on him and see how their season is going and whether or not you can maybe swing a deal to get him, because the Houston Texans need help in the interior line, and I just don't see anybody that is on the team currently going to help the interior offensive line. The only way they're helping this O-line is by getting the ball out of C.J. Stroud's hands a whole lot faster. I have hope. Like I said in my previous video, I have hope that Nick Caley and Cole Popovich can do their job, but you are putting a lot of your eggs in the basket in those two individuals to make sure they can turn around an offensive line group that was arguably the worst in the NFL, and you didn't do them any favors by trying to add a few guys that weren't so hot this previous year. Cam Robinson was okay. Lincoln Tomlinson, not so good. Ed Ingram, not so good. And you only drafted one rookie in the draft to help the O-line group. Feels like the Texans could have done a whole lot more, but obviously these are just a few trade options. None of these guys I would trade for besides Joel Batonio, but how realistic is it going to be? I'm quite certain that none of this will happen, and all of these are just hypotheticals that we're just talking to the end of the day of. So let me know down in the comment section whether or not you agree or disagree with any of the trade options. Is there a guy you have in mind that the Houston Texans should be looking at in terms of the trade block? If there's a guy interesting enough, I will highlight your comment and I will do a video on it next time. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.